cars head off on third formation lap, it's a good time to run through the grid for this first MX5 Championship race of the day. So, as we mentioned, Championship leader Jack Brewer starts on pole position, but alongside him is Sebastian Fischer, who is looking incredibly fast today and could be in contention possibly for that first MX5 Championship victory. Maybe. Just might happen. Brian Trott starts on the second row of the grid alongside Fraser Fennick. Then it's Oliver Allwood and Matt Pollard on the third row of the grid, one of his best results so far in qualifying with 6th. And then Zach Oates, who took his first podium at Anglesey last time out, starts 7th, alongside Jason Greatrex in 8th on the 4th row of the grid. Moving to row 5, it's Steve Foden, who took his first 2 MX5 wins back at Silverstone in a BRSCC paddock. He starts back on the 5th row alongside Luke Pullen. Then it's Callum Greatrex, son of Jason, starting on the 6th row of the grid in 11th, alongside Oliver Graham, who didn't have the best of qualifying sessions, didn't really have the pace to match the top 10 contenders or the front runners. No, this is his teammate, so he starts back on 12th on the grid. Then it's Adam Craig and Tim Dorr, followed by Kevin Dengate and Paul Bateman on the 8th row of the grid. Moving into row 9. Down to 12, and we've got Adam Sparrow, who I think was set to race. He had some issues, mechanical issues in qualifying. I did possibly hear that he might have had to withdraw. So if he is there, he'll start 17th. If not, we've sadly lost an MX5 on the grid, and that will mean that Christopher Ginn then would start on his own on the 9th row of the grid. Owen Mills and Richard Wooten come next to round out the top 20. Then it's Michael Green and Bo Parry, followed by Bryn Griffiths and Cian Donaldson. And then the last 4 rows of the grid are going to be Aaron Danapala and Graham Rumsey, Christian Dan and Brad Jones, Michael Pearce and Ollie Walden, Richard Bartlett and Oak Richardson round out the 32-strong entry, which is set to compete here this afternoon at Snetterton, wrong circuit. So then, let's just quickly recap where we are with the championship then, for those who haven't been watching or those who have and want a quick refresher. So, last time I was at Anglesey, it was 2 victories for Jack Brewer. That was being taking his total up to 5. It was also a win for Oliver Allwood, his first of the season. And so now it means on drop scores, on overall scores, it was a tie in the points between Jack Brewer and Oliver Graham, who hasn't won a race so far this year, but he has taken a best result of the season of 2nd place, which was last time at Anglesey. So they left Wales tied on overall points with Steve Foden just a further 3 back, but on drop scores it shakes it up a little bit more, because now it's Jack Brewer on adjusted scores with the worst 3 results taken out on 594 points, 584 points for Oliver Allwood in 2nd place now, 578 on drop scores for Steve Foden in 3rd, but it's a further 3 points back for Brian Trott with 575, then Sebastian Fischer, who missed the first rounds at Croft, has run incredibly consistently. Hasn't finished lower than 6th, finished lower than 8th so far this year, but has been on the podium. How many times? 3 times. 3 times. So he hasn't finished lower than. No, that is right. Yeah, so lower than 6th so far since he's made his first appearance at Silverstone. So in those 6 races, he's had enough points to push himself up into the top 5 on drop scores, which is incredibly impressive. And Sebastian really has been one of the standout drivers so far this season going forwards. So the cars make their way around. Once again, as we say, these are identical Mark 1s to those that you find in the MX5 Clubman Championship. You do get some drivers who are mad enough to do both championships, but it's great to see them do that, to do double duty. We've seen drivers do both the Mark 1 Championship and also the Super Cup, but I think it's the first time we've seen the Mark 1s have drivers competing in literally both of their championships on one day. But usually on the 2-day format, they have more time in between races for other categories and other formula, but with it being mostly a Mazda-centric day, it's pretty frantic for the teams out there today. So big respect and a big thank you to all the teams who are here today for running cars, whether it's just independent runners just on their own with a trailer, or big teams that are running 7, 8, 9, 10 cars under their awning. You're all working incredibly hard, so a big thank you for being part of today's 4th meeting of the season for the MX5s as a collective on the grid. So, Oak Richardson, the last car getting into position, and it is Jack Brewer, the yellow, red and blue car on pole position on the left, the silver and purple car of Sebastian Fischer on the right, then Brian Trott and Fraser Fennick, Ollie Allwood and Matt Pickford, and then it's Zach Oates, Jason Greatrex, Steve Foden and Luke Pullen. The top 10 for race 1 of the day here for the MX5 Championship here at Snetterton. We are underway, and it's a cracking start from the front row from 2nd for Sebastian Fischer. The outside line has usually been the grippier one as it was last week, and it is again this week. And the charge down to Ritchie's begins, and I think Sebastian Fischer will lead. Yes, he will. So Sebastian Fischer, who came close to that first win at Anglesey, leads them down towards the turn 1 for the first time. Into the right-hander they go. All heading through relatively trouble-free, where there might be a squeal of tyres and someone might be off the road, or at least running wide. 1 or 2 cars are off the road wide. Couldn't quite tell who it was. Steaming down the outside onto braking goes Jason Greatrex. He might steal 4th from Fraser Finnick as they turn their way through. We've got AB Motorsport teammates Matt Pollard and Oliver Allwood who are side by side. And another one of their cars is putting an attack on Steve Foden up the inside into Palmer's for the first time. So after the first few corners, it shakes out like this. It's Fisher who leads again then, doing exactly what he did in the final race at Anglesey. So he leads, Brewer second, Trott third, Fenwick fourth. And it's Greatrex in fifth, and they're all trying to get down into the mix. There was a screech of tyres towards the front somewhere. Someone locked up and possibly made a move that didn't quite come off. There's Paul Bateman going around the outside of 145. That is, I think that's Zach Oates, who's dropped a few spots. He started in the top 10, but he's now fallen a little bit further back. And I can see in the background, the top two have broken away now. It's Sebastian Fisher being hunted down by Jack Brewer already in these first few opening corners, as they make their way out of Williams and into Oggies for the first time. As Jason Greatrex being chased down by the AB Motorsport pair of Brian Trott, who hasn't won a race this year so far yet, but he has been up there in contention. He's been there pretty much there or thereabouts in every single race. If we look at his results, the only race he didn't finish was an incident he got caught up in the third race at Croft at the opening rounds, but he hasn't finished lower than 8th position all year, which is looking pretty strong. Lots of side-by-side battles getting involved here as cars are going every which way to try and find a piece of racing room. Steve Foden was defending from, I think, Matt Pollard there, and also Zach Oates as they turn into Brundle and Nelson. So it's still Fisher from Brewer, then Fraser Fenwick latched onto the back of the top two. Running wide there is one of the Greatrexes. I think it might have been Callum Greatrex in car number 34. Also running wide there is Jordan. Sorry, that's a couple more cars off the road. They're all off the road at this point. 73's come bounding back on. That was I think it was Bo Parry, was it? Yes, Bo Parry's off the road in 73, and it was Keane Donaldson in car 97 that went wide there as well. So all sorts going on in this first lap as they turn out of Murray's for the first time of asking. A little sideways there for Zach Oates, but he catches it nicely. There's Paul Bateman, who is the defending Masters champion. He's got some work to do in the points as they come back down the pit straight. So Fisher from Brewer, from Fenwick, then it's Greatrex, Trott, Allwood. That's the top six as they come back down towards Ritchie, side by side between the two teammates there. AB Motorsport is now, Ryan Trott has to try and defend from Allwood by going up the inside and attacking Greatrex into Ritchie's corner for the second time. Steve Foden in the black and gold car is there in car 77. Matt Parr's getting involved as well. Trollard goes defensive on everyone as he goes up the inside of Greatrex. Allwood tries to follow him through, almost edges him out wide. Come on, let me through, please, if I can. But if Greatrex can't find the momentum, he might also let Steve Foden and possibly even Matt Pollard through. And I think maybe, did Brian Trott miss a gear there on the run towards Palmer's? Because he's now lost the position back to Allwood and also lost out to Greatrex too as well. Lots of battle going on for 4th, 5th and 6th. As now we see a change off for 2nd because Fraser Fenwick's got past Jack Brewer and he's attacking Sebastian Fisher. Everywhere you look at the front, there's battles everywhere. Up the inside for Belize, so Fenwick's gone with it. Up to 4th has gone Allwood on the exit. Agostini, can he complete the move? Yes, he can. And now it's side by side for 2nd as Jack Brewer tries to follow Fraser Fenwick back through, and he does manage it into the left-hander at Hamilton's. He's in now to 2nd and 3rd position. So 4th now for Allwood, 5th for Greatrex, 6th for Trott, and then 7th and 8th for Foden and Pollard. It's only a lap and a half, and I'm starting to get out of breath already. There's so much going on in this race. Up to 9th, I can see just behind Pollard. It is Zach Oates, and then just behind him is Oliver Graham, who's up 2 spots on where he started in 12th. So made up some moves. Quick look at the timing screen to see who were the biggest movers and shakers from that opening lap. The biggest winner from that in terms of positions gained was Jason Greatrex. Started 8th and up to 4th. The biggest one, the one that lost the most amount of positions, appears to be back down in 20th place, Kevin Dengate. No, sorry, it's Bo Parry, in fact. He started in 21st, down to 29th after that grassy excursion here on the exit of Nelson Corner. So in the second lap, look at this, bumper to bumper, nose to tail. This is what we love about Mazda MX-5 racing. This is the championship we come to see. Brilliant nose to tail racing all the way through the field. But Fraser Fenwick then, who has 1 win under his belt so far this year, he's going to try and pick his way now as high as he can up the order. Fraser Fenwick, who won the first race at Silverstone. He picked up 100 points for that. You get 100 points for a win, same as the Super Cup and as the MX-5 Clubman Championship. 1 car's in the pit lane, I can see. I think it's an AB Motorsport car, but we'll check who it is in a second. But again, you get 100 points for a win. You also get a point for the fastest lap, same as you do in the Clubman Championship. And again, the points go down in 2, so it's 98 for 2nd, 96 for 3rd, and then keeps on going down by 2 each time until you get to the last driver in the field. I think it's about 49th or 50th that will pick up just 2 solitary points. under brakes. The pack makes its way down. There's a big move from Luke Pullen here up the inside. Now, Luke was someone who I was told by Ali Bray to watch for last year as Matt Pollard takes to the curb on the exit of the corner and still can't get onto the circuit because he tried to get back alongside and found Oliver Graham slotting his way between both of the AB Motorsport cars, saying, don't mind if I do, boys. Just picking his way through them. Now running wide there was Luke Pullen on the exit, but looking back to our leaders, it's seen that top three is closed back up again because Fenwick now under threat from Brewer. And Fisher's now got Ollie Allwood on his tail, followed by Greatrex, Trott, and a three abreast move up the inside. That was Matt Pollard on Ollie Graham and also Callum Greatrex heading into the mix. Look at Adam Craig in the yellow number 29 car in there too. Oh, and it's three abreast and there's contact. Oh, I think that was quite innocent there. I think all who just drifted onto the same line without really realising that each were that close because Graham managed to somehow survive that one after being squeezed by, it was Pullen on the right to his right and Craig to his left, and they were lucky not to make more of that and just a quick touch of fenders. But they've all got away from that relatively unscathed as they carry on onto the Bentley straight for the third time. So Pullen then, as he rumbles over the curbs, and he's now going to lose out to Adam Craig as he's got better momentum off the corner. And he'll be on the inside for Brundle, but if he can complete that move, by the time they get to the second part of it, he'll be on the outside for Nelson. But if he can quick get back in front and hold onto the position and take it before they turn right, that'll certainly help him out. And he has done so. Just see him flash to the back of the shop. Here's the AB Motorsport boys. So they have got one of their cars leading the race in Fraser Fenwick in his splendid metallic purple livery on that car. Very reminiscent of the Simtex back in Formula 1, that livery. Brilliant looking car, that. And then we've got AB Motorsport cars in 5th and 6th as they nose to tail. Ollie Allwood and Brian Trott. And we've got none of their cars in 9th there, Matt Pollard. So we've got 4 cars in the top 10 for AB Motorsport. There is the Mike Comber Racing prepared car, Steve Foden. And it's Fenwick still leads, but now he's under big pressure from Jack Brewer, who darts out to the outside. He wants to try and pick up his 6th win of the season. And he can try and go around the outside. He can do it here, and he does, in fact, outbrake him and sweep across to take the lead. So Jack Brewer then is back to the front here in the MX5 Championship. Started on pole, dropped back a couple of places. Is now was as low as 3rd at one point, but is now back into a lead and looking for that win number 6. So into the Wilson hairpin. Fisher still staying close in 3rd place. He still has a chance of potentially putting himself into a race-winning position. Makes his way up towards the left-hander into Palmer's. And now the back straight towards Agostini for the 4th time. 3 laps completed. Fastest lap of the race has gone to Steve Foden, 2 minutes 22.851. So he's trying to pick his way through these incredibly evenly matched. There's only about 0.3 of a second difference in lap time between the first few cars. That's how close and competitive it really is in this championship. You can see the battles all the way through the bottom end of the second half of the top 10, and that sort of second group is getting bigger and bigger. It's almost like Caterham style racing, where kind of as one pack starts to fight, the more they scrap amongst each other, the more the other cars tend to get involved. Up the inside looks Matt Pollard, who was also trying to get past both, not just Steve Foden, but Jason Greatrex in the process as well, but couldn't quite complete the move on either of them. So he's now sat back and held on to his 8th position for the time being. Ollie Graham there in 9th place. Callum Greatrex, which is the son of Jason, has lost out to Ollie Graham there. So that's a switch between them. Adam Craig is still 11th. And top 4 all set personal best last time by, but they weren't the fastest man. That was the man just darting out there in the black and gold car, Steve Foden. And he's looking to the outside, but he's gone way too deep into Brundle. Takes the longer route and just about gets it stopped. Thumps over the curb at Nelson. And there goes Matt Pollard squeezing through. And he might lose another spot as looking around the outside of the bomb hole, which is not quite a move you should always try. But he's going for it, Ollie Graham. He's got some guts to try it. And he'll stay on the outside line. They're going to be side by side. Almost puts a wheel onto the grass as he turns in. There's our leaders going through as a trio. Then it's Allwood and Trott. Then it's Jason Greatrex and Matt Pollard. As for Ollie Graham, he has not made it through. He's slotted back in behind Foden and falls back into line as he continues to circulate in 9th position. Down the pit straight. There goes the top 3. Then 4th and 5th on their own at this point in time. 6th backwards with Jason Greatrex chasing after them. Pollard 7th, Foden 8th, Graham 9th and Callum Greatrex rounding out that top 10 as they make their way in through Ritchie's for the 4th time. New fastest lap of the race has been taken back again by only a 10th quicker than Foden's time. 2 minutes 22.754, so it's looking good for Jack at the moment, but there's still quite a way to go, still 9 3/4 minutes left in this race. We're into the second half of the 20-minute encounter. Because after this race, we've got the designated lunch break, which is about 40 minutes or so, and then we have the car, which gives them a chance to turn the cars back around for this second set of races for this afternoon. So back onto brakes again. Leaders towards Agostini once more. 4th and 5th still for Allwood and Trott. I think there's been a switch around between those two, has there? Yes, there has. So Allwood then back behind Trott now. And there's a black and white flag which is going up for somebody there. Someone's been using track limits, and it just pops up on the on-wire timing screen, and it's car number 69 that has track limits warning, and that is Brad Jones. So he's had a warning then not to cross the white line too much anymore. If he does so, he'll be handed a 5-second time penalty. So then, Fraser Fenwick then starting to line up Jack Brewer, who might be possibly thinking about a move to repass the championship leader down towards Brandon Nelson. Fenwick at one point has led the championship. I think it was exiting Silverstone after his victory. He fell back down after a less than satisfactory weekend in Wales, and he looks round the outside and going for a lead into Brundle Nelson. Fraser Fenwick on the inside for Nelson. Brilliant pass from Fraser Fenwick into the lead then once more here at Snetterton, and now look at Sebastian Fischer. The move has caught Brewer completely off guard there. I don't think he really expected Fenwick to go that far around the outside, but a brilliant gutsy pass. It's a really bold pass around the outside into Brundle, but he got the inside line for Nelson, held the lead, and I think that surprised even Fraser himself. So Fraser Fenwick then back into the lead here at Snetterton in race 1 of the day for the MX5 Championship. It's second for Jack Brewer then, and still third, and in the mix for a good result here is Sebastian Fischer. He's in line for a podium, but if he keeps close, there's even a chance here that says second, or possibly even that first win. It's possible, but we've still got a way to go, just under 8 minutes left. There's Trott in 4th, pulling away from Allwood in 5th. He's now falling backwards towards Jason Greytrex in 6th position. And 7th place for Matt Pollard. It's then Callum Greytrex and Steve Foden, who's slipped back to 10th. At the bottom of the top 10 now, so he's not having the greatest of race. In fact, there he is, look. The black and gold car getting very stuck in there. Is now back up the inside for the hairpin there, looks Jack Brewer. They're now side by side with Fraser Fenwick, and now it's a sprint towards Palmer's. Now, Brewer will be on the outside line. It's a slightly off-camber left-hander, this Palmer's corner. You have to be careful not to drift too far wide, because otherwise we've seen some drivers just being pulled to the outside of the circuit and off onto the grass. And once you get dragged onto the grass, usually it's not easy to get back on it, particularly if it's wet. But thankfully it's bone dry at the moment. And Fish, you can see, in the silver and purple car number 81, is really giving these two a headache as they come back to Agostini for the 6th time. Now the top 3 make the sprint up towards Hamilton's on lap 6 here. There's a pack now forming. I don't think Trott's got away from Allwood too much. He's still kept Allwood roughly around about a second behind him. I think in those last few corners, Allwood's gained back a couple of tenths, so he's not allowing his teammate to get away too far. And of course, you've got to remember also we've got Jason Greytrex and Matt Pollard in there as well, currently 6th and 7th, so they've got some work to do to pick up some more points. So Jack Brewer still holds the fastest lap of the race. It's Fenwick that leads the way then. He'll be on course possibly for his 2nd win if Jack Brewer manages to hold on and repass. It'll be his 6th win of the season. And Sebastian Fischer, we've talked about this before, hasn't yet won a race in the MX5 Championship. But could today be the day? Could it be the day that he manage it? Well, he'll have to keep on working hard to get around the top 2 in front of him to do that, of course. There is Oliver Graham. There is Steve Foden, who's now up to 8th position. So he's made his way past both Callum Greytrex again and Adam Craig. There's Paul Bateman, who's one of our top Masters drivers. There's Owen Mills. There's Tim Dorr on the 37, the Australian. And this is This is another one of the auto test entered cars. That is the treble 2 of Michael Green. And he's having a good battle with Richard Wooten here in the 3 as they turn in through the bomb hole. One of the original corners, of course, that's been there for quite a long time, ever since it was first properly conceived. And I know there was one mission objective, I think, or one of the mission objectives when they built this 300 circuit was you can modify just pretty much almost the majority of the corners, but the one corner you cannot modify is the bomb hole. So by all means, change the other corners, but do not touch that corner. And thankfully they haven't, because it's quite a unique one in British motorsport, where it's got quite a compression right at the apex of the corner, and so it's quite a fast corner, but also one that can catch you out if you hit the bump or hit the compression a bit too wrong. So 178 down the outside line, looking for the move. That is, check out my time screen, that's Kevin Dengate. Oh, Kevin Dengate runs wide, puts 2 wheels onto the grass, and he loses out to not only the chance he was going to try and pass Michael Green, but also to the chance he was trying to get, the move he was trying to make on Richard Wotton, which didn't quite catch off either. Richard Wotton are getting a bit sideways. And now Christopher Ginn in the multicoloured machine, number 20, trying to get around Dengate. Good to have Kevin back in the championship this year. He's been away from Mazda MX-5 racing for several years. He's raced a few other things, including BMWs amongst others. But now he's back at the wheel of a Mazda MX-5 and in real contention, in fact, for the Masters Championship. For coming into the weekend, if I look at the point standings, he is 4th on drop scores with 572. So he's got some work there to do to try and pick his way up a bit more. Now, there's a couple of cars out there with windscreen wipers on. Now, of course, we are anticipating some rain today. When it drops and when it happens, I'm not sure. Now, what has happened here, look, there's been a change again for the lead because Jack Brewer squeezed back past Fraser Fenwick. So Fraser then sits back to 2nd place. Brewer's back to the lead. There was also a change of fastest lap, I noticed, on the timing screen. It's gone back to Oliver Allwood, 2 minutes 22.660. He's still a second away from his teammate. But as they turn in now out of the Brundtland-Nelson complex, switch between the top 2 again. And I suspect the fact that Fenwick is keeping himself latched onto Jack Brewer's rear bumper suggests that with 3.5 minutes to go, this is not over by any stretch. We've still got, I think, this and 1 more to go, so 2 more laps, I suspect, in this first MX-5 Championship race. They turn their way through Coram, this long, almost never-ending right-hander, and this very tricky braking zone at the end to try and almost brake and turn and try and get the car straight as possible to get it slowed down for the run into Murray's. Here comes Fraser Fenwick then, back in the slipstream, down towards Ritchie's again. Now, will he go for the outside line that Brewer tried a couple of laps ago, which was successful at that point in time? There's our timing tower on the left-hand side. Fenwick then keeps close, just latched right onto the rear of Jack Brewer as they turn out through Ritchie's again. There goes Ollie Allwood, turning his way through. Brian Trott now has the fastest lap of the race. He's at a 2:22.298. Now the top 3 closes up, and Brian Trott's getting himself involved as well. So maybe with 2 laps to go, it could be a quartet rather than a trio battling for the lead here. Because Brian Trott's pace has now brought himself into the mix. He was 1 second away from Sebastian Fischer across the line, so he might be tries to close in. There he is in the background. It's the white and green car with the purple and orange stripes that's closing back in, and here they come down towards Agostini because Brewer's not comfortable. He has to go to the inside line to defend from any opportunity that Fraser Fenwick might try and find. He's going to try and creep around this way and that to try and prise the door open and find any avenue to get through. Is he going to throw a dummy, try and throw a double pass or something along those lines to try and catch him off guard, or make a dive up the inside? Oggies is a good passing spot to make a late breaking move. But again, sits back, and Fisher's back into contention now as well. Again, hasn't finished higher than 2nd. He was so close for about 2/3 of the race at Anglesey. He was able to fend off Jack Brewer and co from behind him. I really did look at those 1 point. He would be able to do it, but just lost out in the end and managed to pick up 2nd place after a frantic battle with his teammate Oliver Graham, of which they then finished 2nd and 3rd, practically nose to tail. But it was a double podium for the Auto Test team. And now as Fraser Fenwick looks round the outside, he's done this once before. He's going to try and do it again round the outside. He will be on the inside line, but has to cut back in this time. Cuts his momentum a little bit, and now he's back under pressure from Sebastian Fischer. Good exit from Nelson, back on the rear bumper, almost a bit of a bump draft. Getting very close to the back end of Brewer's car as he turns through the bomb hole. Little wiggle there from Brewer, but Fenwick is right on there because he knows he's applying the pressure, and Brewer can feel it. He'll see it right in his mirror, the big purple MX-5 looming large in that rear view mirror. Fischer in 3rd, and Trott is also coming into play here in 4th place. They're going to come onto the pit straight to start the last lap of this first race. Remember, they've got 2 more of these later on this afternoon after lunch. But of course, everyone wants to win the first race of the day, to have that momentum, to have the bragging rights, and to nail those first 100 points of the day that will really set the tone for the rest of the meeting. Last lap, board goes out. Fenwick was right underneath Brewer as he looks one with the throws the dummy down towards Ritchie, looks up the inside, dummies him down towards turn 1. It's very close, they almost make contact, but just trying to squeeze up the inside there is Fenwick, and he almost made it stick, but they almost touched, but just didn't manage it. And look at Fischer down the outside of Fenwick, looks for the lead or Brewer into the Wilson hairpin, can't quite get it stuck, and now Brian Trott's involved now. It really is kicking off in this final lap. And remember, this is only the first race for these guys. They've got 2 more this afternoon. This is certainly going to be, I think, the story of the day between these 4. So out through Palmer's for the last time. 4 of them together for the lead. Any one of them can win this race, but who it's going to be, we'll find out in about 3/4 of a lap's time. Fenwick again, looking for the dummy once more. Brewer's back to the racing line, puts the car in the middle of the road, lock up from Fish. I think he did tap the back of Fenwick's car a little bit there. And now, here comes Brian Trott trying to make his way up to 3rd place. He's now looking around the back end of Fisher's car. Possible change on for 5th as the two AB teammates of Allwood and Pollard are battling away with Jason Greatrex. But now the leaders as they come back into Oggies for the final time. Now, if Fenwick can stay close here on the exit of Oggies and through Williams, he'll have a prime chance to slipstream Brewer all the way down the Bentley Straight and try and make a move down through Brundle and Nelson, but he has to carry the speed here, and he's done pretty well. Now, what about Trott for 3rd place? Can he get a good run here on Fisher? But they're all closing up because Fisher will get a double tow. Trott will get a triple tow from all 3 cars. Brewer's trying to break the tow here as he weaves from left to right to try and break it up here, but they're all pretty close. Trott has a small dart out, tries to look for 3rd place, can't quite make it happen. This might be a photo finish, you know, if it gets this close. Out through Nelson, all 4, nose to tail, on the sprint now towards the bomb hole. There's only literally 3 corners left. The right-hander at the bomb hole. Still Brewer leads it. Now the run towards the long right-hander at Coram. It'll have to be the run to the checkered flag. Unless Fenwick makes a dive round the outside to put himself on the inside for the Murrays. It'll have to be a sprint to the flag to try and settle it. Nose to tail, 1st to 4th, into the final corner for the final time. Brewer just about holds on, but Fenwick will be in the slipstream. Here we go then, up towards the flag. Is it going to be Fenwick? Is it going to be Brewer? Now they charge up towards the checkered flag. They're all going to close up together. He's been a fantastic first race. Fenwick will move out, but it's going to be too late, and it will be a 6th win of the season, but only just for Jack Brewer in the first MX5 Championship race of the day here at Snetterton. 2nd place of Fenwick. He lost out by 0.168 of a second. It's Fisher in 3rd, Trott in 4th, and Ollie Allwood just holds off his teammate Matt Pollard by 0.128 of a second. It's a sprint finish to a line between Luke Pullen and Callum Greatrex. I think Pullen just beat Greatrex to a line by 0.146 of a second. That was close as well. Well, amazing stuff from the MX5 Championship once again, and there's again 2 more of them to come, so lots more action still left from the Mazda MX5s. The rest of that top 10 was Jason Greatrex 7th, Steve Foden back in 8th, 9th for Oliver Graham, and 10th for Luke Pullen ahead of Callum Greatrex. It was then 12th for Adam Craig, 13th for Paul Bateman, 14th for Owen Mills, 15th for Tim Dorr. The rest of the top 20 was filled by Michael Green, Richard Wooden, Kevin Dengate, Christopher Ginn and Kean Donaldson. And then we're just seeing the rest of the field coming through the field. It's Christian Dan 21st ahead of Oak Richardson 22nd. That's a good drive for Oak. He started 32nd on the grid, or 31st on the grid on the timing screen, but it was 22nd. He picks up 9 spots in the end, so that's a higher place for him to start. Then Bryn Griffiths in 23rd, then Brad Jones, Bo Parry, Aaron Danapala, Ollie Walden, Graham Rumsey, Michael Pearce, and Richard Bartlett. And sadly, the car that we lost, which is in pit lane, you can just see behind the timing tower there on the left of the screen, sadly was Zach Oates. So the man who picked up his first podium at Anglesey, unfortunately, not able to finish the race. Well, that was a breathtaker, particularly for this man. I'm sure there'll be a big, cheesy grin behind the helmet of Jack Brewer, I'm sure. After that victory, I'm sure he quite enjoyed that one. And no wonder, because that was quite a hard-fought battle. This man will certainly have enjoyed it as well. He'll be a little bit hard done by to end up in 2nd, but it's good, strong points for him in the championship as well. Thumbs up from Fraser. And again, another podium for Sebastian Fisher. He's getting closer. He's getting closer to that first win. It is coming, but not just on that first race just yet. So, and there's a big smile for Jack Brewer. Let's see exactly how he found that and see if the smile justifies how he found that race. Let's head back down to Lindsay, who will have a chat with our winner for the 6th time this year, Jack Brewer.
I'm just going to jump straight in, Jack. They made you work for that.
Yeah, Fraser did a firm but fair, drove brilliantly. I could see he was probably a little bit quicker. That was tough. That was really tough, but it was really good fun. So hats off to Tucker Motorsport and all the guys that have supported me, Airborne, EPTA, EPTA projects. They've been absolutely amazing, and I can't believe I've had 6 wins.
Yeah, you have become the Mr. Mazda man of the season so far. I mean, going into race 2 though, very quickly, obviously he's going to be starting right beside you, and that one, Seb, is going to be starting right behind you. Are you feeling a little bit of pressure?
No, we just take each race as it comes, really. I mean, we've just managed to do it then. We've just got another 2 to go, and we'll see how it goes. But you don't have to win every race to win a championship, so fingers crossed, we'll go for it.
Very nicely put, and congratulations. We'll catch up with you later on this afternoon. So we can very quickly catch Seb. Seb, that was an incredible drive. You had pressure on them.
Yeah, we were keeping up with them, which was good, but I definitely didn't have the pace to overtake them. I could stick with them, but they were having a good battle, nice clean battle. Yeah, it would be nice to sort of mix it up there and, you know, try and go one better than third. I seem to be finishing quite regularly at the minute, but we had a lot of pressure from Brian at the end. He was all over me, so I thought I've got to stay ahead of him, which is good. So yeah, I mean, busy day today, so to start with a podium is just brilliant.
Yeah, I've got to ask you about Brian coming up on that very last lap behind you. What was your first thoughts?
First thoughts were there's lots of noise, lots of tyre squeal. He's going to be on the outside, so as long as I turn in and then look to my outside and he's not there, I'm okay. But if he is there, you've got to give him the space. But I was just enough ahead of him to hold him off, and then we were okay for the rest of the lap.
Yeah, it was very well done. Looking forward to this afternoon?
Absolutely, yeah, very much so.
Brilliant. Hopefully we'll see you again. Thank you very much. Right, let's very quickly grab Fraser. Fraser, I have to ask, drive there. Just talk me through, what were you thinking?
Not a lot. It's that hot and that hard out there. You just go lap by lap, trying. But you know, you can get a gap on them, and then as soon as you get to a straight, they just tow back up to you. It's really hard out there.
Well, it was just the constant first, second. I mean, did you think, right, I'm going to get him, this is it?
I thought on the last lap I might have had him, but he defended so well, and it was so hard to get past him. So fair play for Jack for that. And Seb was always there as well. He made it a really hard race.
Yeah. No, honestly, it was a phenomenal drive. We're very impressed, and hopefully we'll see you this afternoon. Congratulations.
Thank you.